Alright, mission complete, and that should be both of the secondary objectives as well. Yep, nice. So I guess I could have done this first and then gone and gotten the collectibles and whatnot. So is this the same timeline? But well, they're all set in like the same timeline. I assume you mean like time period and whatnot. All these stories are part of like the same universe and history and whatnot. So Assassin's Creed 3 took place during the American Revolution. Black Flag went back more into the past, into the golden age of piracy, and Rogue here is right in the center. So in terms of like in terms of how the games came out and how the modern day story is being told, it goes 3, 4, Rogue. But in terms of like the actual history being told, like in terms of like the time periods that they take place in, Black Flag is the earliest, Rogue is second, and then 3 is third. So this game is like right smack dab in the middle between Black Flag and AC3. And because of that, there's some recurring characters between AC3, Rogue, and that. So like they're all very close together in that, and their times and whatnot. Like for example, we start out as the assassin Shay Cormac here, and our mentor is Achilles, who goes on to be the mentor for Connor in Assassin's Creed 3, the protagonist of that game, for example. So they all take place like pretty close to one another, but far enough apart that there's different stuff going on in the history here. Rogue seems really similar to Black Flag. Yeah, it's the exact same engine. It's what happened was there was a really weird situation with this game. This game literally released on the exact same day as the next game. I guess we can fast travel to North America, but while I'm rambling here and they're saying stuff. So there was Assassin's Creed 3, then Assassin's Creed 4, and then from there they released Rogue and Unity. And Rogue is the one that, you know, comes before Assassin's Creed Unity. But they did a weird thing where they released both Rogue and Unity on the exact same day. So this game originally released on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 on the same day that Assassin's Creed Unity released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC was the thing. Had a complete cosplay of Connor. Like, the cosplay was cool, but I feel like they should have expanded his character a bit more. What sucks is that there was a planned speech for him. There was like a planned couple-minute speech. You can find it online, but it was cut from the final game. He had this whole like monologue kind of journal thing where he's reflecting on the whole set of events that like really wrapped up his character super well. But they cut it before the final game. So you can find it online if you search it up on YouTube. You can find Connor's speech, but it doesn't actually exist in the game of AC3. So the speech that like wrapped up his character isn't in the game, but you can find it on YouTube, interestingly enough. So there's that. And that would have like perfectly wrapped up his character. Like, I've listened to it on YouTube before, and it really does wrap up his character really well, but they're like, nah, let's just cut this. Let's just cut this. Maybe they thought it'd be too boring because it was like a 2.5-minute speech, but it's really good, and they cut it out, and I'm still salty about it. But yeah, so Assassin's Creed Rogue here is one of like the least known Assassin's Creed games, because this released on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 on the exact same day that Assassin's Creed Unity released on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So, saw yourself a while ago. Gotcha. But yeah, so I don't know why Ubisoft decided to release 2 main series games on literally the exact same day. They wanted one to be previous gen, being AC Rogue, being like the thing that they threw together using the same engine and everything as Assassin's Creed 4 here, and Unity being like their next gen game, like the next big Assassin's Creed game. And because of that, they did like so much marketing for Assassin's Creed Unity. Like, it felt like there was a trailer like every other week is what it felt like when it came to Assassin's Creed Unity. And the hype for that game was honestly really unhealthy. I was probably somebody that was unhealthily hyped for that game myself even. Like, my goodness, the amount of views the main trailer of Assassin's Creed Unity has gotten was crazy, but they were constantly advertising that. And they would just, like, they'd mention Rogue from time to time, but they wanted all the focus to be on Assassin's Creed Unity. So, considering this game leads into Unity, like, this game takes place before Unity, and it leads into Unity. Like, from a storyline perspective, it makes sense to be playing Rogue before Unity. But they released them on the exact same day. So, if you were coming home like from the game store, if you're coming home from like GameStop or something like that, and you've got both Assassin's Creed Rogue and Assassin's Creed Unity in hand that you picked up while you were there, then which one are you really gonna want to play? AC Rogue, that's, you know, the same engine and things that you've done in Assassin's Creed 4 already, or like the next gen thing that's been so advertised as like this next big thing that the interwebs is losing its mind about, you know? So this game really didn't get a whole lot of attention when it came out for that reason, and I was mentioning this earlier, but if I was in charge of running things in Ubisoft, AC Unity very much seems like it launched with a lot of glitches and in not the most playable state and whatnot. What I would have done as Ubisoft, release Rogue when this released, and delay Unity by like half a year or a full year or something like that to really work out the kinks. That way, people have time to actually play Rogue, the game that leads into Unity, and then play Unity after, and have Unity actually be more fixed. Like, I've heard that apparently a lot of the bugs have been fixed since then. But yeah, AC3 Remastered for the Switch to play all the way through. Yeah, that's what we played on the channel for AC3, is we played the Switch version. And yikes, AC3 Remastered on the Switch does not feel optimized well at all. AC4 and Rogue here actually feel pretty optimized. I actually really, really like Assassin's Creed 4 and Rogue. If you somewhat enjoyed AC3 on the Switch and freaking, if you like some open world adventures, Guzma, I'd highly recommend keeping an eye out for this game right here, the Rebel Collection, when it goes on sale, because is real good. But yeah, where you can also play, yeah, this right here, what we're playing right now, this is Black Flag and Rogue on the same thing. The cartridge itself actually only has Black Flag, so you put in the game cartridge and you have to download Rogue. It counts as like a free DLC. So it's like, the cartridge itself is Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but you can download Rogue onto the Switch, like, memory itself for free there. I guess they didn't want to make the cartridges, like, too big to have, like, these two massive worlds on the same cartridge. Because, to be fair, both Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Rogue are sprawling open world games with a lot to explore and do, so it's like, okay, I'm willing to give them a pass on you having to download Rogue onto the system memory and Black Flag being what's on the cartridge. I'm willing to give it a pass there. So there's companies like Nintendo that like basically never putting their games on sale and having it always be like $60 in the States or $80 here in Canada until like the end of time. But Ubisoft actually likes putting their games on sale a lot of the time. And this isn't even a full price game. Like here in Canada, full price games are $80, 80 Canadian dollars. This game, I believe by default is 50, and I think I got this on sale for like 30 bucks, and physically at that. So like 30 bucks for these two sprawling open world games on my Switch, I'm gonna say it right now, that's a good deal. I'm gonna say it right now. Tell me around the time you play Black Flag, which is a bunch of goes, still think it's awesome, I don't have enough storage on your Switch right now to download it. Yeah, there is like the physical copy. Again, Black Flag is what exists on the actual cartridge, and then Rogue is the, like, if you get the physical version, then Black Flag is what's on the cartridge, and Rogue is the thing that, you know, needs a download. But there's still plenty to do in freaking Black Flag there, even as is. I'd say keep an eye out for when it goes on sale, because Ubisoft likes putting their games on sale a decent bit of the time. So I'd say keep an eye out for sales, because I picked this up for like 30 bucks Canadian, which is like, the sale that I picked this game up for was like 20 bucks USD when you convert that over to, actually, the Canadian dollar and USD is getting a little bit closer nowadays. Wait, what? Oh, I need to actually turn around here. But yeah, so I picked this up on sale for like 30 bucks Canadian, which is probably closer to like $25 US now, with like it getting a bit closer and whatnot. But yeah, have both Sword, Octopath Traveler, Rescue Team DX already download on your Switch with an SD card. Yeah, see, I just go with physical. I just go with like physical games is what I do. But yeah, so I'd say keep an eye out on places like Amazon for if this game goes on sale. That's where I picked it up from, was Amazon. I picked it up for like 30 bucks. That's a good deal. So keep an eye out, I'd say. That's what I would say. Loading. Animus travel speed to sail faster. And cover long distances more quickly. Cutscene, maybe? River Valley, June 1752. Alright, we made it to a place. I feel like as the night has gone on, my doogie has shifted like more and more over that away. Alright, let's go. So a whole nother area here we have now. Yep, its own whole section. This one is a little bit more maze-like. Yeah, I was talking about you a second ago, silly doogie. So I believe this game has like 3 main sections. So yeah, there's the North Atlantic, there's the River Valley, and a place that we haven't been to quite yet, undiscovered location, that each come with their own set of forts and shenanigans and stuff to explore. So I was losing my mind earlier thinking that this was much smaller than Black Flag. Turns out it's not. We just got like multiple sections is all it is. With the 3 main places. Look at location. What a great location that is. I thought we were going to look at the one that we're actually going towards. Oh, apparently there's an upgrade available for the ship right now. Now it actually wants me to look at the one that we're going towards, apparently. Now it actually wants me to do so. Well. At first I thought I crashed for a second hearing that sound. I looked down at the adorable doggy, and I thought I crashed there. But yeah, real quick, couple things we want to ask. There's more Tales of Rise, so I hope you don't mind. Just want to talk about briefly. It's alright, sure thing. I saw you mentioning in the Discord server that, like, the demo for it is coming out in the near future, but only on consoles, but apparently some people got it early, and a bunch of stuff is going around the interwebs for that right now. Apparently. Wait, where's the synchronization point? Wait, huh? Why don't I see a synchronization point around here? There's gotta be a synchronization point. Progress further in the story to unlock this activity. Screw you, game. Why is there no synchronization point? I think it maybe be that windmill or something. Maybe I just can't synchronize here right now. In which case, there's no real point, like, collecting things here right now. Because, you know, I'm gonna miss things. If I don't have the full map and all the collectibles and stuff. Yeah, let's just actually go right to the objective for once, I guess. I don't know where the synchronization point is. Maybe I don't have access to it yet.
The Templars desire to understand the nature of these artifacts. Their spies have called upon many doctors and other learned people in New York.
They have also approached many tribes with questions.
Yeah, they've been showing that manuscript far and wide. No one can read the strange writing or understand the images. We do have a name, though.
We learned that Lawrence Washington sent out the manuscript.
Lawrence Washington, businessman, Virginian politician, and high-ranking Templar.
Ah, yes. I recently heard he was back from the West Indies. One of my men saw his major domo pick up a strange package.
Then that package will be delivered to him promptly. Shay, figure out what it is and find Washington. And when you do, learn all you can.
I'll prepare the Morrigan.
Alright, let's go ahead and do that. Is what we will do. Is there still no synchronization point? Rigged! Or going to the Morrigan. Yeah, when it comes to Tales of Arise, I do very much plan on streaming that the day that it comes out. Is the case. And then the day after that comes out is when WarioWare Get It Together comes out. So we'll be streaming that on the day that it comes out too. Is my plan. That is my plan, unless I have, like, university stuff really picking up and my schedule's weird. I'm gonna have to double check, like, what days it is and, see what's going on there. I really hate it when games do, like, the different editions like that. And I looked at the different editions of it, and it's just like, oh, you get, like, better discounts at shops with the higher editions, and, like, some more costumes. And, like, bonus packs and more money. It's like, wow. You want players to pay basically the price of 2 games for more costumes. And, like, permanent buffs that just affect, like, the menus and stuff. But yeah. Well, it really depends how much I wind up enjoying it. Like, in something like Assassin's Creed 4 and Rogue here, I was 100% in Assassin's Creed 4, and I'll probably 100% Assassin's Creed Rogue as well, just because I really enjoy these games. But I'm not doing the same for, like, other Assassin's Creed games I might not enjoy as much. Like, we haven't 100%ed any of the other games in this series so far. It's just been the last one, and probably this one here as well. So it really depends on how much I enjoy it. I can't say for sure now, because I don't know how much I'm going to like it. I might hate it, who knows. We will see. Alright, let's be tailing you without being seen. Hide in the fog. That's what we must do. I mean, I've played this game before, so I already know that I love Assassin's Creed 4 and Rogue. Once we get to freaking the games that I haven't played yet, like Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, I can't guarantee that I'm gonna be trying to 100% those kinds of games in this Assassin's Creed series, because I haven't played them before and I don't know how much I like them yet. So I already owned the game? Yeah, I did freaking.
This won't do.
I lied.
Shay, you must follow that ship on land.
I'll do that.
I did pick up a
Bring the
thing, but I
Marine around another
freaking...
way.
I can track that package and find Washington.
While I was waiting for my second COVID shot the other day is what it actually was, thinking about it. Because after you get your freaking dose of the COVID shot, you need to wait there for like 15 minutes just to make sure that you don't like fall on the ground and die and need medical attention. So I had time on my phone and I was like, screw it, I'm picking it up. And you're about to gift it to me? Too late, nerd! Get outplayed! My goodness, but I appreciate the thought all the same. My goodness. But yeah, I kind of... The reason why I said no, I hadn't picked it up, is because I wanted to do my little ramble about how I hate games doing multiple editions, and but for the sake of this channel, I always cover, like, whatever the main stuff a game has to offer is. Like, because it's for the sake of review purposes and yada yada, like, you know, that's what I do. So, when it comes to games that we cover on this channel, when there are multiple editions, I always go for, like, the highest thing. And I checked the multiple editions of that, and the higher editions honestly seem like a massive ripoff, and I picked it up anyway. And I freaking... Like, it would have been revealed by the time we got to freaking Tales of Arise anyway. But, for the sake of this moment, I was just like, yeah, you know what? I haven't picked it up yet. And you know what? I lied. So, the truth is out now. At least, something that's nice about being a content creator nowadays is, like, whenever I'm picking up games for the sake of this channel, it's always with revenue that comes from, like, YouTube ad revenue or from, like, Twitch generous Mad Lads kind of stuff. Like, it all comes from my account that I specifically put together of like, my revenue from content creation. So at least I don't have to worry about that coming out of my own pocket, because hey, content creation stuff, it's a cool hobby, you know, I guess. I don't know. Well, let's go loot the package. Like, if I wasn't a content creator and I wanted to get into Tales of Arise, I would have absolutely just gone with, like, the standard edition is what I would have gone with. But as a content creator, like, I cover games on this channel and parts of games even when I think that they're gonna be bad. Like, I have this pessimistic kind of view of the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remasters coming out later this year, for example. And if I wasn't a content creator, I wouldn't be picking them up. But I am a content creator, and your hat just spawned in. And I'm picking up both to cover one on YouTube and one on Twitch for the sake of having these playthroughs and covering them. And for the sake of review purposes, because if it really is bad, then I'll get to showcase that. So I figure with, like, Tales of Arise, even though I looked at the freaking multiple editions, and I think that the freaking multiple editions is freaking dumb. The cases that I see of multiple editions with games that I've played in recent years that have multiple editions, I've always thought are dumb. Like, the most recent other example has been Watch Dogs Legion, where the multiple editions of that honestly really didn't seem that worth it either. But I could only find out by actually covering it on the channel. So if we play Tales of Arise, and I cover the stuff in the Ultimate Edition, and I'm like, wow, I paid the price of, like, 2 of this game for that. And it's just like these buffs that are like better discounts in shops and freaking is there optional objectives here? No, it doesn't seem like. And some costumes and stuff. Then I'm gonna think that's pretty stupid, and I'll be mentioning it during my playthrough, you know? But yeah. Let's see here. But yeah, I was gonna get your Ultimate Edition, you don't have to spend the huge amount on it. Well, I appreciate it all the same, you generous mad lad. You basically already have gotten it for me, considering, you know, again, the revenue that I... the way that I buy new games on this channel is from revenue on, like, Twitch/YouTube. And after all the freaking crazy amounts of bits that you've given on this channel, you could already say that you basically have already picked that up for me, essentially, considering that's where the revenue came from, technically. So you technically already did. Technically speaking. But mine just as long as you had covered it on stream. They also have music DLC, which plays tracks from all the other Tales games during battles too, so you believe it's not just the costume. But if that's going to be a feature, that should be locked behind an extra paywall. That should just be in, like, the base game there, you know, in my opinion. Like, at some point, the current video essay that I'm working on for the channel right now is on if historical video games can be used as like a substitute for historical textbooks. Like, to what extent are historical video games academically legitimate? But I'm not gonna have that as my title because nobody's gonna want to click that. A YouTube audience. So the title of the video essay is gonna just be like, can historical video games replace textbooks? That's something a lot simpler to, that's a lot better to have in a YouTube title. But I'm thinking that the next video essay is going to be talking about like the state of the AAA gaming space. And I'll be talking about things like DLC, games as a service, multiple editions, lack of innovation in the way that like AAA game developers are electing to play it safe rather than, you know, continue to innovate. Like, some games do still, I love the motion controls of this. I'm gonna just tell you right now. I do think that the Switch version of Assassin's Creed 4 and Black Flag with the motion controls with the Switch controllers is really good. I saw a preview for that on YouTube the other day. Yeah, I got the intro done for, freaking how history is told in video games. It's, okay, you want to, like, get the hell out of here? I'm trying to, like, progress things, but I can only do it when I'm anonymous and stuff. Can I loot? I can loot bodies at this point, just in case you have any ammo. That was really interesting. Looking forward to watching it. Yeah, I do technically have a... I do technically already have an essay put together that I submitted for university. And I have done a video essay on a university essay that I've done before for that same class, being on how Assassin's Creed 2 abstracts the past. But in this case, I'm making like a new original essay on the same subject rather than my university one. Because my university one's way more boring, because it's way more like...
Can that be? It makes no sound.
We have an air rifle in this game, which I think is pretty cool. In Assassin's Creed 4, we had a blowpipe.
Master Washington.
In Assassin's Creed 4, we would use sleep darts and berserk darts with a blowpipe. But in this game, we actually get an air rifle, which I think is way cooler. Falcon kick. But yeah, for my video essay on how Assassin's Creed 2 abstracts the past, that was the one video essay that I did that just directly was a university paper. Like, I read it out word for word and whatnot, and that's what it was. But for my video essay on, like, if historical video games can replace textbooks, I do have an already done university paper on it. But it has to use, like, all these sources that we've discussed throughout the course and all this extra boring stuff, and I was like, that's gonna be way too boring as a YouTube video. So rather than making the essay I already had, I made like a new original essay that would be like way better for like a YouTube format and way more engaging, and not citing random websites that I was required to cite for the freaking thing, you know? Locate Lawrence, Washington. Do I have secondary objectives? Make enemies berserk with the air rifle. I didn't fail an optional objective there, did I? Maybe I should reload last checkpoint just to be safe in case I need to be, like, undetected. Maybe. But yeah, so that video essay is gonna have 4 chapters. The 4 chapters being, how was history told? How do video games tell history? How do video games make arguments? And then finally, how do video games make arguments about the past? Those are the 4 chapters. And so far in editing, I've actually got chapter 1 done. And I'm gonna start production on chapter 2 soon. So I don't actually need to stay undetected. It's just, oops, darn it. It's just make enemies berserk with the air rifle. So let's go ahead and switch to berserk darts is what we'll do. Yeah, in my opinion, I think that the air rifle is way cooler than the blowpipe. Boop. Look at that. Look how cool that is. As I'm pulling out a blowpipe and going, pfft. The rifle's way cooler. So they're just gonna fight one another now, is the thing. And that dude's gonna be Sniper. What is he shooting at now? And then he collapses when it runs out. And he just dies. Is he gonna fall off? Yup. Sploot. I missed! I actually missed! Hi, friend. So I need to land all 3 of these other shots. I might be able to use bones to craft some more berserk darts already, or it might be locked behind further story progression. I'm not quite sure. Should I check? Can I craft some more berserk darts right now? I'm curious if that's the thing. I feel like the ammo crafting should be right at the top. Yeah, I do need to progress further in the story to unlock the crafting there. Well, video games are historically accurate either, so it depends which video game you're playing. Well, the main argument that's made at the end of it is no historical video games cannot be used as a stand-in for textbooks, but they can still make arguments about the past. And why do we learn about the past if not to learn from it? Learn from past mistakes and learn from the arguments that people have made. That's the short version, essentially. Is like video games aren't going to be the best aspect to learn about like the facts and the exact way that things went down. But they can still make arguments about the past just the same. Because video games are going to have their reasons for changing things. Usually to make like a more entertaining product. Like a very good example of that is, don't get detected at the garden party. A very good example of that is a case like Battlefield 1, which takes place during World War I. In a game like Battlefield 1, you're going to be seeing this like super glorified version of combat where there's constantly action and so many things going on. Whereas in reality in World War I, that was a bit of a jump there. Whereas in reality in World War I, it wasn't these constant battles where everything is going on. It was trench warfare where, oh, I got some more berserk darts off of that. It was trench warfare where, gosh darn you. As long as we're not in the circle there, no, it's not okay. It's not okie dokie after all. Whereas in reality with World War I, it was almost completely trench warfare where more soldiers are going to be dying from like sickness than actually in combat. And soldiers are going to be more worried about like getting gassed or not having a meal tomorrow than they would about actually seeing combat, you know?
I need to get
But-
to Washington first.
But what would make a better video game? A game where, where you spend like weeks to months in trenches worried about if you're gonna get like your next meal or if you're gonna not die from random illness. Stuff like that. Well, let's do that. I guess he's gotta start attacking random people. Or a game that glorifies combat like Battlefield is famous for. I've never played a Battlefield game. I plan on trying I'm pretty sure I've gotten some Battlefield games for free with like Twitch Prime on my freaking Origin account thingamabob. So for the sake of that video essay, I might play a little bit of Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, which I think I own both of, just for the sake of like getting footage for this video essay and like getting an idea of what these games are like. But from what I've seen, it's very much like it glorifies combat, when in reality, it was the super slow, monotonous trench warfare that was going on, and not this glorified combat that a game like Battlefield portrays. But at the end of the day, they've got a product to sell, and they figure like, hey, what would be better there, I guess? What would make the better product, I guess? So that's one reason that video games can abstract the past, but at the same time, they might also have a certain story that they want to tell, like Assassin's Creed telling the what is that guy doing? Like Assassin's Creed telling the story of assassins versus Templars throughout history, and they're fighting over these artifacts that let them do cool wizard shit. Like, that's obviously a made-up kind of thing that wasn't part of our actual history, but they do it to, you know, make the plot that they want to make, and make a product that they can sell, and make a deep lore and stuff like that. So, like, these kinds of games aren't good for learning history, like, fact for fact, right as they played out, but it can still make arguments about the past.
He should have nothing to do with the troubles of the Templar cause.
We all respect that sentiment, sir.
You have my thanks, gentlemen. Master Smith, are you ready to leave on your voyage?
Aye, sir. I shall return with answers.
Master Wardrop, are you likewise engaged with the manuscript?
Yes, sir. We'll soon know its meaning.
Then I bid you take your leave.
So in a game series like Assassin's Creed, we see like a mix of real history and like made up plot. They're despawning! What the hell?
Right about him, Liam.
These people just vanished.
About to murder a dying man.
Well, yeah, Shay having some second thoughts here. Or there's games like a game like Assassin's Creed Rogue can still make the argument that, hey, maybe no side is in the right, and maybe you can see things from the other perspective, as Shay starts seeing things from like the Templar perspective and having doubts about the assassin way. Like, the assassins are made up. the Templars as they exist in Assassin's Creed are made up. Like, they freaking did not exist for this long in history and want to go after ancient artifacts that let them do cool wizard shit. Like, the Templars as they're known in Assassin's Creed are not a real group. They're different than the real historical Templars, and the Assassins as they're known in Assassin's Creed are not real things. They're made up. But it can still make arguments about the past, you know? Like, the main argument of Assassin's Creed Rogue is that, like, no side is truly in the right, that maybe you can see things from another perspective at the end of the day. And that's what Chase starts doing. He starts seeing things from the... That's out of range. From the other perspective. So even though this isn't telling, like, factual history like the way that a textbook would, it can still make arguments about the past and about our world. That's essentially what the moral of that video essay I'm working on is going to be. Like, no, it can't replace textbooks from, like, a factual kind of standpoint, but it can still make arguments about the world. And why do we even learn about history if it's not to learn about, like, arguments people are making about the world after all, you know? And it is also important to note, like, when it comes to history being told, like, people will have their own reasons for telling history a certain way. Like, for example, there's a talk in Assassin's Creed 3 between Desmond and Sean. If you're playing in the modern day as Desmond and you take the time to actually go around and talk to all your allies, there's a talk that Desmond has with Sean where Sean talks about how, well, like, people like Washington spoke so highly about, like, peace and freedom and equality for all, and yet had no problem owning slaves. And Sean is saying, like, it's hypocritical in the extreme, and yet your textbooks make hardly no mention of it, as if it was of little consequence. So you can see cases where it's like, some things are written less about if, you know, certain people writing history in the first place want certain things to be swept under the rug a bit more. And people that are interpreting the evidence later, that are actually writing textbooks, have their own reasons for writing things a certain way. Like the fact that people like Washington owned slaves, for example, and were advocates of slavery despite preaching for freedom. I have low battery on this controller, I should replace it. And these are things that aren't as mentioned in textbooks. Because, I wonder if it's a country trying to bolster people's nationalism and patriotism around their country by raising up these figures like Washington as these great, wonderful heroes when in reality they maybe weren't. I wonder if it's maybe something like that, you know? So, people will have like these are settings, controllers. Oh, dang it. My controllers are in the, my bag in the other room here. Just give me a hot second. People will have their own reasons for writing history a certain way. Both the people that were originally taking place in history, like history is written by the victors and whatnot, and those that are actually writing textbooks and making historical accounts later down the line, will have their own reasons for interpreting it a certain way. Like, for example, a textbook may try to portray Washington as, like, a great hero to, like, make people more patriotic and rally around him. Maybe a game like Assassin's Creed will interpret the evidence as, like, oh, there's Assassins and Templars that are trying to fight over cool wizard shit, because that makes a better product to sell. Or maybe a source like Battlefield will try to interpret World War I and II as this super glorified combat where there's constantly action, when that really wasn't the case. I'm gonna grab another controller, give me a sec. Not that one. Alright, let's see here. Change grip order. This one should have full charge. Should well do. I'll plug this in back here. So yeah, gosh darn, I connected that one again. So yeah, it is worth noting that, like, even a textbook is not going to be, you know, without flaws. And it's important to read between the lines sometimes. It's not just in other media, like freaking movies and video games. And something else that's really interesting is you see a lot of big media copying one another. Like when you look at something like Battlefield 5 or Call of Duty World War II, and you see them portraying an event such as D-Day, then it makes you really wonder, like, is this really attempting to be an accurate portrayal of D-Day as it was historically? Or is this trying to be an accurate portrayal of Saving Private Ryan? You see a lot of popular media copying one another because that's what's known to have worked before. As well with freaking historical accounts. If media portrays things a certain way for long enough, then people start believing that that's the real way that things went after seeing it in popular media for long enough. Would you like up on the couch? There you go. But yeah, let's see here. I don't want to talk about it in textbooks, but other games will talk about it. It's kind of shameful. Yeah, I feel like Assassin's Creed 3 talked about it a little bit. I feel like it could have gotten into it a little bit more. Like, as I was just mentioning before, it was the Assassin's Creed 3 conversation between Desmond and Sean, where it was talking about Washington owning slaves. In the game, you don't actually ever see that happen. But something that I do like about the way that Assassin's Creed 3 portrays Washington is, like, it initially portrays him as, like, this great hero that can turn things around, but then it turns out that he's actually a kind of awful person, and Connor feels, like, betrayed by him after he finds out that Washington orders an attack on his village, and he gets freaking hella pissed off with Washington from there. Kill Washington while blended. A different Washington. A different Washington. I believe a relative of that, that one there. So I need to kill him while blended, apparently. I screwed up. I thought I could make it to here. Ow. Ow, my goodness. But yeah, so it's a very complicated subject and something that's actually very fascinating to analyze. Something very fascinating to analyze, I must say. I'm looking forward to getting that video essay out there. Do I have the Berserk Dart ones done? No, it just gives me the same stuff that I had at that last checkpoint. Okay, well, there's that one done. There's that one done. I believe there's like a bench spot I can kill him. Or maybe it's just in the, oh. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. So kill him while blended, huh? Is what I gotta do. Maybe I can bring him over here? If I whistle him, is he gonna come over, or will it just be his guard? Maybe if I whistle from, like, over here. Yeah, he does want to come check it out. Did I hear a whistle from those bushes? There we go.
You are too late, assassin.
It's never too late to ruin Templar plans, Master Washington.
But my plans are already in motion. Even leading you here has given my allies time to escape. Thank you for making my end a quick one.
That was a quick one.
And thank
What's your
you
interpretation of a long
for
one?
revealing your master plan, you scheming snake.
Ah, sweet. Well, I guess we get the tutorial thing for smoke bombs now.
God damn it.
Reach the Morgan.
Hurry
Way up. Oh, I'm already equipped on smoke bombs there.
to the Morgan.
Squeezy! Whoa, I'll just get a little bit stuck on the table. Your ship is taking heavy damage. Yeah, I'm noticing. Oh, go up. Go up. You got a clear shot. Stop. Stop.
Is that a shit mortar?
My goodness. Same start with them transitioning to the wacky background that someone's dying. Yeah, that's always the case with Assassin's Creed games. That's one thing that'll always remain constant. Something that I love about this is how it shows the Morgan taking damage and a health bar there, but the moment you get onto your ship and actually take the wheel, it'll have full health. Watch this. Here we go. Yoink, full health. Like I didn't show it properly there. Oh, there I took a hit. But, all right, time to go. We've got places to be. Time to escape. I didn't even use smoke balls there. Escape the area. Whoa. Come on, speed up. We gotta get the hell out of here. My goodness, those cannonballs are shot far, aren't they? My good gracious. Take out these gunboats. Oh, they're about to take off my first notch of health. Yeah, there it goes. Oops, dang it. I keep on pressing X for the swivel guns that I guess we'll get later. Okay, so I guess we're just out of here? Does it matter which way we go? We just generally get the hell out of Dodge? I think we just generally get the hell out of Dodge. I think is what we do.
Lawrence Washington.
There we
is
go.
dead.
You look disappointed.
The sickly way that man looks. He would have been dead in a month anyway. And 2 other Templars got away. They're looking into the manuscript and box.
Did they have the artifacts?
I don't know. Perhaps. I can't be sure.
Then you did what was right by the brother.
Just waiting for the cutscene to end before I leave the restricted area. I thought that was cargo for some reason.
The rare day we could sow such chaos.
I rammed right into it.
Perhaps. But to hear Washington speak, it didn't sound like they'd be too put out by the loss.
Well, that's what he'd want you to think. The French force.
Alright, well, I think... Okay, there we go. I guess... Oh, it just ends when the cutscene is over. Okay. By invitation only. We got it done. Nice. And we're transitioning over. Hopefully not back to modern day, and hopefully it just jumps to the next little time jump. Can I dance on the loading screen? Whoa, lag. Heck yeah, we be schmoovin'. We're schmoovin' out here. Look at that. Pretty sweet.